Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Brian Bowen, and thank you all for joining me. So the Criterion collection is laying off, I believe, 20% of its employees due to some reconstruction that took place about in 2020. And the accusation is that the reason why they're laying off these 20% of employees is because the employees went woke during that session. They started, I'm not going to get into all the details of it. You know where it's going. And so they're going to be, the Criterion collection is going to be basically laying off 20% of their employees. So let's get into this article and find out what the details are. And the article starts off: the Criterion collection, the prestigious DVD and streaming label widely considered the gold standard among serious cinephiles, which is people who are basically fans of motion pictures, big fans of motion pictures, has reportedly laid off 20% of its staff amid a restructuring effort to address, quote, challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The layoffs come after Criterion immersed itself in wokeness and racial equity, declaring in 2020 its support for the Black Lives Matter movement and saying the lack of black representation in its collection was, quote, harmful. So here we go. Since then, the company has sought to atone by spotlighting not just ethnic representation, but also transgenderism and its movie programming and online publications. So you know where we're going here. So this week, Criterion laid off 16 employees from a staff of more than 80, according to an IndieWire report. We had to part ways with a number of staffers across several departments as part of a reorganization intended to prepare the company for the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, which are markedly different from the ones we have built ourselves up to address in the past, Criterion President Peter Becker told the outlet. In 2020, the company publicly declared its support for BLM, saying it will, quote, build a better, more equitable, more diverse Criterion. It also created a monetary fund that would in part go toward assisting bail fund organizations. Here we go with the all political. That's the way I see it. But I'm going to give you the details of this. We read on. In a 2020 interview with the New York Times, Becker said the company had long omitted black cinematic artists. And I'm pretty sure that was the case. But let's hear what this person said in the interview. There's nothing I can say about it that will make it okay, he told the Times. The fact that things are missing, and specifically that black voices are missing, is harmful, and that's clear. We have to fix that. In the subsequent years, Criterion has made a noticeable effort to spotlight Black, Asian, American, and Latino filmmakers and stars, especially on its streaming service, the Criterion Channel. The label has also enthusiastically embraced transgenderism, including online essays about transgenders in cinema. But listen to this part. Criterion's edition of the 1987 movie Moonstruck features an essay by Vox's transgender critic Emily Vanderwerf, who analyzes the Oscar-winning comedy through the lens of gender transition, even though the movie has no transgender characters. The Criterion collection is a subsidiary of Janus Films, the revered independent film distribution company. And that is the end of that article right there. But right off the bat, when I read this, I knew right off the bat that this is clearly a Marxist move. I can spot a Marxist a mile away now, you know. And let me just reiterate what Marxism is in essence. Essentially, Marxists see everything in black and white. In other words, Marxists see everything as the oppressed and the oppressor in just about every situation. They see everything in the sense of class struggle, okay? The oppressed and the oppressor. In America, we have what is known as the neo-Marxists, which is a new form of Marxism. Now, back in Karl Marx's day, okay, the concept of class struggle and the oppressed and the oppressor was capitalism oppressing, which is the oppressor, oppressing the poor, which is the oppressed, okay? And that the capitalists were the ones causing those who were poor to be poor. and that the only way that you could defeat these capitalists was through violent means, through revolution, violent revolution. This is what Karl Marx taught in the Communist Manifestos. Okay, now in modern 2022 America, but starting off basically in 1960s up until now, 2022 America, we have what is known as the neo-Marxists. Neo-Marxists are new forms of Marxists that see division or the oppressed and oppressor or class struggle in every situation. Race, not just capitalism and the poor, but race, and sexual preferences. They see this struggle in everything. And in this sense, this person who gave the movie Moonstruck a transgender type of critical review clearly was looking through the eyes of a Marxist. And they saw, even though there was none of that in the movie, that's how they see it, because that's what they've been taught. Marxists cause division where there was no division. The purpose of causing division is to create a revolution between the persons or the groups in order to cause them to come against each other with violence. That's when you get your revolution. And once the revolution gets started, whether it's in the racial form or the political form or in the religious form or the economical form or whatever, once you get that revolution going, then the communists come in, the Marxists who started it, which is called what they call manufactured crisis. They come in and fix the situation and solve the situation with communism, or what I believe it was. I don't know if it was Karl Marx or Lenin that said it. Solve the situation with what they call the paradise of communism, which is not a paradise. It's taken over 100 million people's lives, but that's a whole nother story, and I digress. This is clearly a Marxist attempt, and unfortunately, a significant number of these people have lost their jobs. And it's hard for people who are working a 9-to-5 job or whatever organization. You know, when you got bills to pay, you got rent to pay, you got child, you got to take care of children. You know what I'm saying? You got to buy food, you got to do all these things, and then your company tells you you have to support this worldview. If you don't support this worldview, you ain't going to work. Okay, and your hands are really tied. So I'm not really mad at a lot of the workers per se. I'm not really mad at them because your hands are tied, and stuff like this that happens. When things like this happen, you really caught in a quick catch-22, because now you're like, man, I got a husband, a wife, I got children, I got to pay the bills, I got to pay the rent, I got to pay the mortgage, I got all these type of things, my credit cards, all of this. And if I decide not to support this worldview, I might lose my job. And these Marxists that infiltrate these businesses, they know that. What I'm upset about is the Marxists themselves. Okay, when they come in and do what they do, to me, they're deceived. They're sadly deceived because everything is not class war. Everything is not the oppressor and the oppressed. But that's how they've been brainwashed and conditioned to believe. But unfortunately, you have people who have a 9-to-5 job that have to suffer and get laid off because of stuff like this. Stuff like this. The little people are the ones that suffer. It isn't the ones at the top of the pyramid. It's always the little people that suffer when this kind of junk start happening. It's always the little people. And this is an unfortunate situation. And I hate that such a thing happened. But I had to talk on this because one of my goals is in my videos is to point out Marxism when I see it, and to show that Marxism and communism and socialism and progressivism are destructive ideologies, and they're designed to separate and destroy and bring in communism. And we certainly do not want communism in this country. People think they do. They think it's a good thing. I had somebody in this video. I'm going to start summing up this video, but I had one of my former employees, well, not former employees, he's actually an employee now, but about a few months ago, we got into a discussion on his particular religious beliefs and so forth. And I began to share with him how that communists have infiltrated just about every faction of our American society. And I mentioned how communism, according to some sources, have even infiltrated his religious organizations. And he asked me, he says, well, what's wrong with communism? So clearly by asking me that question, he didn't know. He simply didn't know. A lot of people didn't know. I didn't know. 6 years ago, I didn't know. It wasn't until I started studying about it and said, okay, oh my God, really? you know, and he just simply didn't know. But when I began to explain to him in detail about what really communism really is all about, and how they come in and how they infiltrate organizations and political ideology, political structures and educational structures and even religious structures, then his eyes began to open up just a little bit. But this is what's going on. And this is part of the reason why I do the videos that I do. I do these videos because in part, I want to expose what I believe to be a very, 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 very dark and dangerous and nefarious ideology and worldview, that if people don't catch it when they need to catch it, it's going to take control. It already has a significant amount of control in just about every institution in this country. And if we don't expose it for what it is, more and more people are going to be taken in by the lies, and America is going to be kaput big time. So I just wanted to bring that out. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again.